access health care through the public system, through Medicaid, when they need it. But we really, our goal, our eyes on the prize, if you will, is that everybody can get the health coverage they need, and through that health coverage can get the care they need to stay well and, go to school, work, raise families, live like everybody else, and not get derailed into the disability system unless it's absolutely necessary. And then if they're derailed into the disability system, that they can get the care they need to live fulfilling and productive lives. But, right now we have a lot of people who are on disability who could have been, who could have avoided it if they had had the right care at the right time.
Certainly, there are a number of studies that document the enormity of the economic cost of mental illness that befall individuals and have a negative impact on the gross domestic product, the productivity, both for individuals as well as the general economy. One of the ironic beauties, if I could put it that way, of mental illness, if there is one, is that it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what nationality you are. It doesn't care how much money you have, your station in life. It can strike anyone at any time along the spectrum. Is that something that is an asset for organizations like NAMI, that it has appeal across the aisle, no matter conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican? It touches so many people in every way at any time of life that it takes it out of that partisan wrangling.
Yes, I mean, as you say, it's an ironic blessing. Our hearts break at NAMI every time we hear yet again that mental illness has, struck an individual or struck a family and made their lives so chaotic and made it clawing their way back so difficult. And yet, because it has struck the rich, the poor, the conservative, the liberal, black, white, brown, everybody, it's a universal condition. I think there are very few, if anybody, who is not affected by it in someone, either in themselves or someone they care about or somebody they work with. So, it's so common and yet so misunderstood that, we have a long way to go. But we do have a lot of friends, across the political spectrum who are working to make this all more accessible and more successful.
Let's talk about what individuals might do taking the offensive. Is there the analogous action of a preemptive strike to deal with issues of insurance coverage, issues of family wellness?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, if you're going to buy an insurance plan, get someone to help you look at the fine print. Get a broker or a navigator to help you look at the fine print and figure out what is covered. If you are not currently experiencing a mental health condition, it's really a good idea to insist on mental health screening for yourself and for your kids. The American Academy of Pediatrics has a screening toolkit that they would like all of their 63,000 pediatricians across the country to use at every well child checkup. And Medicaid requires screening through something really confusing called the Early Periodic Screening, Diagnosis, and Treatment provision of the Medicaid law.
Yeah, that name's not nearly long enough. That's not.
But it's very important. There's so many things that are complex. But basically what it boils down to is that doctors, pediatricians in particular, should be asking a few simple questions at every well child checkup. And then if flags are raised in those questions, and then the person should be referred to a mental health specialist for a further assessment. And if you do that early, then research shows that we don't need the sort of intensive services, except in rare instances. We don't need the sort of intensive services that derail people's lives and that cost so much to individuals and the taxpayer. So if we hit it early and do what's right, then people can go on with their lives. So that's what I would advise to people. If something arises that might be a mental health condition in your family, and you're just going, what are we dealing with here? Don't turn away from mental illness. It's surprising how many people who know about mental illness, are afraid to look at it in a family member or in themselves. So get help early. Face it, deal with it, and you'll be glad you did.
And reach out to NAMI, one of the many organizations that has just, and I was really blown away, as we discussed before we started the interview in earnest. I was blown away at the ubiquitous nature. You guys are everywhere. I should say, now that I'm a part of my local NAMI, we're everywhere. I mean, there are chapters everywhere, local chapters that have just an incredible amount of resources, and they're free. That's the cool thing. And it's at least, it may not be the whole answer, but it's a darn good starting point. Would you agree?
Yeah, the real problem with mental illness is that you feel so isolated and confused and alone. And NAMI is in every state, and in over 900 communities across the country have affiliates. All it takes is 5 people around a kitchen table to start a NAMI affiliate. So, it's really easy and really valuable. And when you're swallowed up in mental illness and you can walk into a room and somebody says, just take a deep breath. I've been there. There's hope. You're not alone. We're going to walk with this. You just break down in tears because you go, finally, somebody here to help and to understand. So, like you say, it's all free. It's everywhere, and there's really, everybody should take a look and find their local NAMI if they need our help.
Let's talk about another point of individual action, and that is the idea of advocacy. Joining an organization like NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is a great idea. There's a lot to be done. What would you suggest individuals do in addition to joining their local NAMI affiliate and becoming involved as much as their time might permit? Call your congressman, have those kinds of conversations with your treating physician, your personal physician. What's a good idea? What's a good route for people to take?
Well, it's a great idea to join NAMI because we send out e-alerts. When you join, you can sign up for advocacy alerts. And then when something comes up before Congress and we need people to contact Congress over one issue or another, it's really easy. You can just go in. We've got sort of a sample letter that you can personalize, just click a button and boom, it goes off to your congressman or your U.S. senator. We also have state organizations in every state that keep their finger on the pulse of state policy. So if you join NAMI at the national level, it doesn't matter. You're automatically a member of your state organization and your local affiliate. So we track state legislation. We track local issues like law enforcement and jails and schools and that kind of thing. And we keep our members informed of where you can lean in to make a difference.
Now, some people listening to the broadcast and individuals who learn about mental health issues and resources elsewhere might think, although it is a bit hard to imagine, even as I'm contemplating the question that I'm about to ask, I'm not really a joiner. I'm not really into the organizational thing. Mm-hmm. Does the proverbial call your congressman about this issue work? Call your insurance company, write them a letter work? Is that kind of conduct on an individual basis worthwhile?
Well, it's worthwhile, particularly if we do it in a coordinated way. Yes, it's worthwhile, particularly with Parity. If you have been denied care and you think it was denied unfairly, absolutely file a complaint, file a grievance if you need to, try to get that decision overturned, because those appeals are tracked, and that makes the difference with health insurance plans. But, over and above that, if we work in concert and we contact Congress, all together on 1 week or 1 day, they're going, oh, okay, there's a groundswell here. We really need to pay attention. And similarly with state legislatures and local decision makers. So, even if you're not a joiner, tracking NAMI's policy alerts is really a valuable thing to do, and just weigh in. We have over 1 million website visitors every month, and many of them have never, don't actually consider themselves to be members of NAMI, but they do help us and help one another when the time comes to make a difference with public policy.
Any closing thoughts, parting comments, Sita Deal, about the issue of parity, mental illness, or mental health in general that you want to leave folks with?
Well, as the title of our report says, we do have a long road ahead in order to achieve true parity in mental health and substance use care. So we really do need to keep at it. We need to, take a look at our personal lives and see how we are being affected and take action on a personal level, but then we also need to work together to make a difference for the common good.
Sita Deal, she is the NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness Director of State Policy and Advocacy for the National NAMI organization. You can find them online at NAMI, N as in Nancy, A, M as in Mary, I, NAMI.org. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to some more conversations. Will I see you in San Francisco?
Yes, absolutely. It was a pleasure talking with you, James.
Sita Deal, it was indeed a pleasure. The San Francisco reference that I mentioned refers to the NAMI National Convention scheduled for Monday, July 6th through Thursday, July 9th. For more information, again, go online to NAMI.org. I will be there on Thursday, July 9th. So if you listen to the program, or even if you don't, tell somebody about it. Say hello if we run into each other there. And while you're cruising around the web for mental health resources, check out something I found just today. mentalhealthchannel.tv is a mental health television station online, so be it, but still some very cool stuff there. Well, that's it for today's show. As always, if you like what we're doing here on Mindset, go to the website mindsetshow.com, click on the Support Us tab, buy something, anything that you were going to buy anyway. Purchases through the mindsetshow.com website help keep the show going. Until next week, for Mindset, mental health news and information, I'm your host, James Curtis. Dare to see mental health differently, because understanding why we do what we do helps us all do better. See you next week.